Hey, what's up, friends and fellow captains? It's Muse. So, coming from a conversation I had the other day with Stabbies, I'm going to be starting a new series. It's going to be called Off Meta. So, in conversation with Stabs, I was talking about Tiger 59, um, and he noticed I kind of have this penchant for off meta ships. And he said, you should probably do a thing on your channel with off meta ships. Kind of have a history with those going back to World of Tanks. World of Tanks, anytime somebody was like, this tank is absolute dog shit, you can't get a win in it, I used to go play it and learn to get good in it, because I figured if I can get good in the worst tanks, then when I got in, like, the OP, so, like, if I learned to play a Tiger 59, then when I jump in a Weimar, I'm just gonna be a monster. And that's kind of my mentality sometimes with some of these ships. I don't always play, the most OP thing at the tier. I tend to play a lot of the ships that people don't like, don't get, kind of like the misfit island of toys for ships. And in doing that, there's a lot that I learned about those ships and about gameplay and being more effective in some of the more OP ships. There's definitely things I've learned playing what people would consider garbage. I don't consider them garbage. They're just not, maybe they don't have the DPM that some other things have, but that doesn't make them a garbage ship. Um, so in the background, we're going to be playing some Flint footage. While I sit here and talk about this from an old game, I had to take the audio out of it because I was in a party and don't want my private business all over the internet. So that's kind of the objective for the series, is to take the lesser played, the misfits, the things that, you're not going to be seeing Weimar in this series, you're not going to be seeing Massachusetts, you're not going to be seeing Cleveland's. The ships that are people's go-tos at different tiers are not what I want in this series, but I want the things that people prefer not to play or avoid, or maybe just necessarily don't know how to play. And bring my game knowledge and my perspective, and I tend to be a very aggressive player, so having a ship that has low DPM can be a little hard for me, because I just can't be aggressive with it as much as I would like to. If it doesn't have the DPM, it just doesn't have the DPM. And again, this all started with, a Tiger 59 outing, and Stabby, I would say honestly, as a more knowledgeable player than I am, I've learned a lot from Stabby, and so if this is a recommendation from Stabby, then I'm probably going to go along with it. I do have a very extensive knowledge. It's not, sometimes it's more the ship's history, the naval history, the, stats on a ship, things like that. And don't get me wrong, like, there's been plenty of times where, I've been wrong about a stat and Stabby's corrected me. Stabby is a very extremely knowledgeable player. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Stabby. And so, yeah, this is kind of Stabby's idea. Stabby's and I both came from World of Tanks. We're both OGs. We're both military, so we vibe. And you can tell when you watch a video where it's, me, Stabby's, Ender, Darth, there's just certain kinds of people that I play well with, and when we get in a division, things just go the right way, and there's just the perfect communication. And yeah, Stabbies is definitely one of those. Anytime I'm playing with Stabbies, so tremendous amount of respect. And if Stabbies thinks I should be doing some off-meta kind of stuff, and again, there's nobody else doing it either. Everybody, like every week I'm seeing, kind of like the same ships just recycled over and over. Montanas and Weimars and Mains, and just these same, ships that are kind of really good at the tiers, just kind of being cookie cut and produced over and over and over. And it, like, I get it. Like, if you have a really good battle in something, and that's what people are going to tend to have really good battles in, then why wouldn't you post it? But at the same time, it doesn't get a lot of the other ships in the game out there and things that, obviously everyone's got their opinion. Ships are going to be, especially ones that are just not straight out OP at a tier. Some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it. And it depends on people's playstyle, it depends on their game knowledge, it depends on a lot of different things. And I think there's a lot of ships in this game that just don't get love. That should get love. They're not unplayable, they're not broken. The first one in the series I'm actually going to be doing, and I've already gone out and captured the footage for it, is going to be the Katori, which is a tier 2 that everybody has access to, which I think that's a good starting point because literally almost everybody is going to have that ship, as long as they went to the PlayStation Store and got it for free. It's also a very kind of unique-ish kind of feeling ship. And I think a lot of people are kind of unsure how to play it. And so I wanted to start with that one. And it's a tier 2, again, anybody that's, not been in the game for long is going to be able to partake in that. Anybody that, doesn't have a lot of premiums, that's a free one. So it's just kind of an off-niche ship that a lot of people are going to have, and I think that's a pretty good starting point for the whole series. So there's not going to be anything in this particular video. The series will represent itself going forward after this video. I just wanted to give kind of people a heads up of why we're going to have this separate series and, what its aims are and what its goals are. And, if I can help somebody to play a ship they've just had sitting around collect dust, that's kind of cool. Like, I'd like to see more of a variety in the game. It's always kind of like you see the same things just over and over. Tier 6 is the Belfast, the Weimar, the Atlanta, Scharnhorst, and you just see the same ships just over and over and over again. And, there's so many ships in this game, and I really like to, when I'm playing with Stabbies, Ender, Dark, all of them, there's times where I just want to go get a win, and I'm going to jump in a Weimar or something like that. And then there's times where I'm feeling like, more creative, more playmaky. And I'll take things that just people normally wouldn't touch. And it's kind of, I don't know, as I've played the game, again, I come from World of Tanks, and a lot of the mechanics are the same from World of Tanks. The spotting mechanic isn't that different. But ships just plays very differently from tanks. Tanks kind of feels very fast-paced, whereas ships, things don't move as fast, things don't set up as fast, and it's really, it feels more of like a chess game. And I know tanks can have that vibe when you're playing with, the high-end players and, high-end tiers. You can have some very chess-like matches in tanks, but those are usually like kind of more towards the end of the game, whereas like ships is just right from the get-go, you're playing chess. It's not, a fast-paced, yes, there's shooting elements to it, but it's not a shooter, it's a strategy game. Like, it's almost like a real-time strategy, and, to get your big gun over to this battle, you're gonna have to start moving it earlier, because it's just not gonna get there, in the snap of a finger. And that's an element that I didn't really feel in World of Tanks. I mean, yeah, I can be in World of Tanks. Like, if you take a big, heavy tank that's slower than dirt, you're really going to have to think ahead about where you need to go. But a lot of times, by the time you even get to the battle's over. In ships, it's not that way. In ships, like, if your team just rushes in potatoes and gets themselves all killed, you're probably going to end up with, a 6-on-3 or something worse. And not 6-on-3 in your favor, but, 3-on-6, I should say. 3 on your team and 6 left on the enemy, and that's just, you gotta do what you gotta do, but your chances at that point are not very good. So yeah, that's just kind of an overview of what we're gonna be trying with this, what kind of vibes we're gonna be trying to bring with this series. I'm not the greatest player out there. I'm not the most knowledgeable. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. I'm a good grab bag of things. I have a good knowledge of tactics. I have a good knowledge of ship design. I have a good knowledge of just in general the gameplay and the flow, and when to be aggressive, when to back off. I don't always listen to my intuition. Sometimes, a lot of times you won't see it so much in my videos, but when I'm playing with stabbies and enders and all them, I tend to be over-aggressive. I really am very aggressive. And I'll get myself killed, but I'll usually make some plays that kind of tip the game in my team's favor before I go out. So kind of like a little bit of a kamikaze style sometimes, which works out better in Division because Division understands why I did what I did and they can capitalize on that, whereas when I'm playing with randos, they don't understand why I did what I did, and they're not going to realize there's that opportunity to capitalize on something. That being said, though, back to the series. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of like all over the place. So yeah, I'm not the most knowledgeable, I'm not the best player, I'm not, I'm not going to be the world ranked #1 top player. I'm not going to be the super encyclopedia. So if people want to pick this stuff apart, they can. I'm sure. I am going to be just talking about my play style, how I play, what works for me, what's effective for me. And I can't comment, if I'm running a gun build and somebody else is running a torp build and they're out there doing more damage, by all means go run their torp build. It's not, I'm not competing at this point. I'm just trying to offer, I have something to offer, and that's what I wish to do. And it's, again, something that I've done for a decade is, in wargaming games, take the things that people don't like to run and run them and learn to be effective with them. I may not, be #1 on the leaderboard at the end of every match, but I'm going to be up in the top half of the team. I'm going to be effective. I'm going to do what I can do with these ships. And so again, we're going to be starting off with the Katori, which I hope to have that video out tonight right after this one. So this one will just kind of be in the same folder with this series, so that if somebody wants to figure out why that series has come to exist, I've talked about where the idea came from, which was Stabbies. I've talked about, why Stabbies feels like this might be a good thing. And I'm definitely willing to try it. It's something I do anyway, so, like, why not bring a unique perspective and something different that you're not going to see, from everybody else every week. Not the Weimars, not just the OP madness that you see all the time. You don't see people posting Tiger 5.9, except for maybe Hound. It's the only one I really see kind of playing that ship at the moment. Everybody else just absolutely hates it. It's a meme, it's a joke. Like, I go into other people's streams and I actually joke about it, and I'm like, triple 5.9 division, and they're like, oh, hell no. And I can understand that. Having a triple division of them would be a little on the AIDSy side. Mostly just because your division would have very little DPM. All the utility, no DPM, would be how that would go. So yeah, I can see not wanting a triple division, but a Tiger 5.9 in a division is a very deadly tool. Not so much for you, as you don't have the DPM, but what you can do for your teammates is incredible. So, with that, I am going to end this, and we are going to get to the Katori video. So, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the series. Take care. Bye.